The world is changing by the minute. So how do you keep up to date with new developments in research, science, technology, and the society? Get on Extreme Research Magazine, the zone of constructive interference. In recent times, I have seen various videos being circulated on social media regarding grapefruit drug interactions. In some of these videos, I noticed that the core issue seems to be sensationalized. I do not know whether the intention is to instigate kind of hysteria in the people who are listening, who are viewing the content, or what. My intention here is to create some kind of balance by bringing in more information on the topic. So today, let's briefly look at grapefruit drug interaction. The first thing that we need to be certain about is that this thing seems to be a coin that has two sides. It has a good side and it has a bad side. Citrus paradisi, which is another name for grapefruit, whether in the whole grapefruit form or grapefruit juice form, contains many nutrients, chemicals that help the body to remain healthy. Things like vitamin C, potassium, dietary fiber, lycopene, and choline, and other ones may contribute to heart health and lower the risk of ischemic stroke and also cancer. However, grapefruit also contains chemicals like psoralen, naringenin, and furanocoumarins. This is where we find the troublemakers. The furanocoumarins include bergamottin, epoxy bergamottin, and dihydroxy bergamottin. These furanocoumarins are known to cause drug interactions. But how do they do that? First, before we look at how they do that, let's briefly look at some of the drugs that are affected by grapefruit. The drugs that are known to interact with grapefruit include statins, which are drugs used to lower cholesterol in the body, such as atorvastatin, also known as Lipitor, lovastatin, Mevacor, and the simvastatin, Zocor. We also have antiarrhythmic drugs used to treat irregular heartbeats or arrhythmia, miodarone and dronedarone. Immunosuppressant drugs are also affected. Benzodiazepines like diazepam or Valium are affected. Our special interest, especially in relation to some of the videos that I saw on social media, are the calcium channel blockers, which are used to treat hypertension, like felodipine, nifedipine, and amlodipine, the most popular kid on the block there. Some opioids, including this very popular tramadol, as well as some of the sexual performance enhancing drugs like sildenafil, also Viagra, can also be affected by grapefruit. So how does grapefruit affect these drugs? That's what we're going to look at next. The furanocoumarins found in grapefruits are known to inhibit the enzyme CYP3A4. So CYP3A4 is cytochrome P450 3A4 enzyme. It's an enzyme that is found mainly in liver and intestine. It oxidizes small organic molecules like drugs and toxins, which are also called the xenobiotics, so that these xenobiotics can be removed from the body. As a side note, I think it is important to know that CYP CYP3A4 is responsible for 40 to 45% of all phase 1 metabolism and accounts for up to 70% of gastrointestinal swab activity, and that it is co-expressed with PGP in the liver and intestine. Well, don't bother too much about that. I think we're going to cover that in a future video because this particular last point, which I want us to note, has heavy implications in the body. So we're still on how the furanocoumarins found in grapefruit cause drug interaction. It does so by inhibiting CYP4. When it blocks CYP4, you know that this CYP4 reduces the absorption of the drugs it acts on. Therefore, when you inhibit the enzyme which reduces absorption, it means that the drugs can now be absorbed very freely, even to a dangerous level. This is how grapefruit affects these drugs. By indirectly inhibiting CYP3A4, thereby abnormally enhancing the absorption of those drugs, which leads to toxicities of different kinds. So what else do we know about the furanocoumarins? Does this mean they are just bad actors? No. They are contained in these grapefruits, and based on research, they have their good sides. In fact, they can help us fight cancer. So what is our conclusion now? Our conclusion is that grapefruit is good for your body, but it is important to know which drugs go with it and which ones do not go with it.